spoiler warning ahead, because so peak as everyone has says. Just want to say this episode of ReZero of episode 12 was so phenomenal. I would say arguably the best episode of this season for ReZero. And being only an anime watcher, I just feel like it really enhances my experience from just seeing it like completely fresh. From overall, I am curious about those who read the light novel. It probably feels a extreme experience when they get to finally see it all in animation, because clearly you can see that the whole animation team and just like with the studio with really caring about ReZero. Also, they took some time to have a pause and have the second part later on too with ReZero. I'd rather have that too when it comes to animation, to be like really amazing with not rushing it and also really focusing on the tiny details and just having it like overall just perfect. It's just perfect. Kind of reminds me of like the struggle that Invincible had too with second season, where they had a long pause, and it's just, I like that. Even then, I'd rather just have them take their time and just make it a masterpiece, which is already it is, and I think a lot of people can agree with that. Anyhow, let's just get to it, because honestly this episode is just absolutely amazing. Everything just seems 10 out of 10 with watching it. So from like episode 11, you see before it was like Priscilla with her fight with Sirius, and then we given the backstory with Bard and like some of the hope that she has, and also just seeing the counterattack with Anastasia with outplaying that one dragon girl who can heal herself that I totally forgot the name of. Anywho, most importantly, this episode 12, Regulus. This guy right here, he is he is such a character. Like, just have just having some class, as well as just being a fucked up character, as well as just, I don't know, really, I really enjoy him as an antagonist. Of course, in reality, he'd be super messed up as a guy, like obviously. But just seeing how his expression of like the people that do the art, just seeing how he's annoyed, having his expression and seeing his ass beat finally just makes it so, it just makes it so satisfying. Just, and also me hearing his voice too, as I always know him as Gara, so that voice actor always being able to portray like, just seems like almost sarcastic and just like not taking things seriously almost. And and even despite him getting his ass beat, he just being able to still be sane enough to be like, bro, like just come on, like we got, like take me one on one, Subaru. But you know Subaru, how he is with outplaying with his knowledge and such and his experience. But I think what a fascinating job that they did in this episode and overall this anime of this character Regulus is his, just how he's such a clown with his inner dialogue. It really focuses on how his thought process is, and also how he's just view on his whole, like this whole fight, and how he views his selfish perception of, or his narcissistic self. Like you see his view of like how the other girls, how he it's like all up in his head, just seeing how he thinks like they are laughing at him. Maybe all, for all I know, they are laughing at him, and there's some connection when their heart has stopped beating and such. But seeing that connect, like seeing his, like his agony, just being that selfish to really not, really hate how he just being really hates to be laughed at, and which kind of really makes me realize how he doesn't, that's why he has his wives not having any sort of expression, and sees complete beauty from just not smiling and not having any sort of like, yeah, as I said, expression. It just makes it very satisfying, and just really emphasize on how giving him gruesome death with how he just, yeah, just totally crushed. It goes pretty deep with that dialogue, and also just going back in the ground where he is. Yeah, they definitely did not hold back on his death on that. It's bizarre. And then there's Amelia, who's just very cute with having, you know, Megumin's voice actor Takahashi Rie. Just having the cute punches with actually memorizing each of the wives, at least the amount that Regulus has married, and as well as just like considering each of the punches for them as well. Like seeing them all like come together, just having this whole arc just really building up to it, like just seeing how they experience with accepting themselves of just an empty vessel almost for Regulus, and seeing them suffer for so long as well. Finally seeing the girls, and it was really touching, and it really hurts you when you see these girls suffered for so long too, and when you finally see Sophie being the girl who was really the big focus here, or really like the highlight, be able to finally open up to Amelia and to really ask all the girls like what they feel about the marriage, and all of them really expressing how they feel truly must be so liberating, and also just feel like motherfuckers shit, you know. The saddest part when it came to thinking that death is only the only way that they can actually be free makes it very sad too. With just sometimes you just kind of can understand when things are just so shitty, and it sometimes it almost feel like that is the only way, especially when you're being held hostage with the authority that Regulus has on them. And then seeing the clutch up with Emilia, with like how her special ability too with freezing the girls. I was like, damn. When you finally see Sylvie being released towards the end of the credits, it just, you can really feel it too with the crying, and also just connecting and seeing Amelia, actually like seeing Amelia's face first, like when she woken up. You see it's finally over, and just like such a relief for them. I can't I cannot fathom that feeling for them to like really finally feel like they're being saved. And it made me realize that that's what Sophie's character was all about, was being in that position to not being able to express herself, and being that close to Amelia, and just being in that, being the main representative for each of the wives who just was feeling trapped completely, and not being able to feel helpless and just stuck. Yeah, much credit to them with the animation, and just being able to create that feeling, to be able to finally feel free. And of course, our favorite guy, at least favorite guy for me. Much respect to our boy who came up with the comeback, Subaru, who's experienced death so many times. So, which is what it kind of comes with, you know, having this knowledge. Seeing the credit to how he's able to outsmart Regulus with just being able to understand human emotions, and from his experience, like at least in games, from actually discovering Regulus. And honestly, I'm just so dumb when if I was in that position of Subaru, I mean anyone, they'd probably be super fucked with experiencing that much death, traumatized and everything. Actually, unknowing, having the knowledge of constellations, which I definitely don't have any knowledge on. But besides the outplaying with his human, like understanding human emotions, also being able to understand and discover authority agreed on his own too. I highly recommend these few channels that talk about ReZero, which I'll put in the description as well. Understanding just authorities in general, I highly recommend this one specific one, which talks about Reinhardt's authorities, and that kind of gave me an understanding of how that world works with authorities, if you don't already know. After all, it's pretty hilarious to see Reinhardt being able to ping pong Regulus, and also just seeing how badass he is. Pretty sick. Like, because of the relation to the constellation, and also being able to brainstorm and having hints from Amelia, and also Amelia thinking about like her experience when she was being held hostage by Regulus. Yeah, just play like put in an analogy that at least I can understand, is pausing himself in the game where in the middle of a fight. I'm like, thank you. That is pretty tight. That being able to, for like someone like him who's isekai there, and being able to discover that is pretty badass. Like like not even, he didn't even like, just from his first trial almost, because of, after all, he experienced like how many deaths. It's yeah, you gotta give credit when it's due. But I think besides that part, like that part is completely amazing. But I think they did such a fantastic job with that scene with the unseen hand, like being able to create that atmosphere with, and just being able to have that control or that feeling for Subaru with the unseen hand, and to actually like get Regulus's heart out too. And seeing how Amelia trusts Subaru as well. I mean, they've been through so much. And like from seeing like the memories of youth, and then as well as just seeing how much progress he has made with control of it as well. Like, another credit to Subaru is seeing his even before all this, being able to find, like, create a matchup with each of the main characters and the good guys, to fighting the antagonists, the witch cult. But yeah, anyways, I just want to say love this episode a lot. In fact, and I actually love the series, and I just cannot I don't know if I should read the light novel as well because I don't want to ruin my experience with watching the anime. But at the same time, like, man, I probably can experience it much more if I do read it. I don't know. Share your thoughts in the comments with that. I just have it on my tab to when I get a chance to read it, and honestly, I'm like behind on a lot of things when it comes to light novels. Anyways, personal problem of mine. Anyways, just excited to see the like after credits with just seeing how Old Man Kun, forgot his name, to finding his deceased wife. Then just I'm wondering how that'll go down because you also get to see what's his face, Garfield, to get to see finally see what he's up to because he's having trauma with his past experience with his fight. So anyway, excited for like the rest of the episodes. I think it's like 4 episodes left after 12, and yeah, hope you enjoy as much. So anyway, share your thoughts. I'm just hyped. I just want to talk about this. So anyway, catch you next time.